guys, welcome back to my channel. If you're new to Let's Talk Music, welcome as well. Today we've got a guest on again. So yeah, I haven't really got any updates apart from actually a quick update before we roll into my video is that I'm doing an event soon in Bournemouth on the 26th of November called Rock Beats Cancer, so go check that out. Other than that, I have no updates. Go check out my old videos. Obviously, I'll pop likes and stuff up here so you can click and go and have a look. We will just head straight over to the interview. I've got a little bit of a different one again tonight. Normally, I've done bands before, so this is a little bit different, but it's going to be interesting. Yeah. So, did you want to introduce yourself?
Sure. Hey, I'm Tcoleswords. I'm a local musician and author. I wrote a book of lockdown called Death Metal, which is the history of death metal. And yeah, that's coming out next month. I'm really excited about that. Really excited to talk about that.
That's really cool. It's really exciting. So before we jump into talking about the book and stuff, if you've watched my videos before, you may have seen that I asked a bit of a random question at the start. And I'm going to start with that one because why not? So if you could describe your personality as a colour, what colour would it be and why?
Oh my god. I have been I don't know. I'm a big goth, so my brain just defaults to black on everything. We're gonna go with that.
Fair enough. I always love getting people's reaction on that. It's always different. It's always like, wait, well, I wasn't expecting that. Right. So, as it is a tiny bit of different interview for me. But so you're written a book or writing a book?
Written. It's being published. I'm just waiting for it to be published, basically.
Oh, amazing. So my biggest question probably is then, what inspired you to do this, to write this book, and why this?
Sure. It's something I've been interested in since I was a kid, really. The history is really interesting. There's loads of I remember reading about it when I was really young, when I was getting into music, when I was about sort of 12, 13, sort of stumbling across this sort of weird hidden history. The thing that made me so enamored with death metal in particular is I remember as a kid sort of being really into it, and people asking me why do you like this? It's horrible. And me going, well, I actually can't really, I don't know if I can justify it really. There's a bunch of other stuff I enjoyed. I like pop music and stuff, and I don't like Led Zeppelin or whatever. And it's kind of easy to just describe why you like it because it sounds, the melodies sound nice, or you can hear what the instruments are doing and they sound great. Vocal harmonies, that kind of thing. But with death metal, I really was drawn to it, but I couldn't really, I was a young teenager. I couldn't really describe that. And that kind of stuck with me. And I got older and I wrote for a couple of magazines and things, and did some grew up to be a music journalist. And I had in my mind that I wanted to write a book about music in general. The people I wrote it for have open calls every sort of year or so. So I pitched something to them about the history of Napalm Death in particular, which is a really wild ride, a really interesting story. And they said, instead of that, why don't they've got a new series coming out, which was about the history of music genres. And they said, do you want to do one on death metal instead? And I said, yeah, and we went from there.
That's crazy. That's cool. I mean, it's a genre of music, I think, that's kind of people kind of just go, oh no, without even giving it a chance. I think definitely. I think there's a fan base out there for it, which is amazing. But I don't think, obviously, even for me, or people that are into metal or that heavier stuff, it can still be a little bit oh, I don't know. So that's interesting as well. And to explain it in a book and write about it in a book and stuff is actually, I think, is really cool, because I think I like when you're in a situation, say if you do have another 13-year-old that's into that kind of music, and to be able to explain it, maybe they could just be like, oh, just read this book.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, that's what I did. There are other books about it. I mean,
Yeah.
one of the things when you I'm sort of damning myself by saying this, but when you write a book, it's kind of fixed in time.
Yeah.
There've been other and there's another book called Choosing Death, which is about death metal and grindcore. And that's really really good, really really good. But it was also written in 2004, and that means you don't have, that's almost 20 years ago. You don't have
Yeah.
all of deathcore, all of the revival stuff that's happening now, the old school death metal stuff that's happening now. I got to do a little bit about Lorna Shore. Lorna Shore, very very recent. I did a little bit about Gatecreeper, very recent. And also all the deathcore stuff. Like if you finish the history of death metal in 2004, you miss out on all the stuff that happened in like 2007, and all of MySpace and all of that sort of thing, like all of social media.
Yeah, definitely. So, what bands inspired you to start with? What bands were you like, oh my gosh, yeah, this is what made me like that kind of music?
Sure. So the first band I ever heard that did that kind of thing was Cannibal Corpse. I got played that as a joke, but I really enjoyed it. So yeah, I just never heard anything like that before. It's completely sort of besotted with it. They were an early one. Napalm Death, I would say Napalm Death, because they have a kind of they have a sort of politics with them, sort of like the like big leftists and animal rights people. And as I got a little bit older, as a teenager, I got into all that stuff as well. And that's one of the reasons I stopped eating meat was because like I was listening. I thought Napalm Death were cool, and I was reading all their stuff, and I was you sort of like they would have links on their social media for like animal rights groups, and I sort of got into it a little bit that way. So they really appeal to me. I bands like Death, the sort of the more technical side of death metal, I really really got into when I was younger. And then getting on, nowadays I'm reading stuff like I really like Venom Prison, that kind of thing. They're in the book. Band called Cryptic Shift, who are doing a very kind of proggy, kind of spacey take on it. Really impressed by them. Finally saw them this year. Band called Imperial Triumphant, they're really good. Band called Akakaka, who sort of flew the flag for death metal when it wasn't as popular, and are just amazing generally. Yeah, I'd say those are the ones that stick out to me.
Oh, cool. That's really cool. I mean, it's not my genre of music, so I don't know a lot about it. I won't lie. I'm kind of like your rock, punk pop, a little bit of metal here and there, like, but more that side of that kind of genre of music. So I might read your book, you know, and maybe but yeah, so just out of interest, so you said that so did you say you're a musician as well?
Yeah.
So what do you actually play or sing
Sure.
or do?
I play drums for the band Sail. We are we were a metal band. We're now more sort of like alt rock. Our new stuff's kind of all over the place. Everywhere from sort of like our new stuff's like influenced for everything from like Coheed and Cambria to pulp. So it's an interesting sound. So yeah, we play a lot locally. We're recording an album at the moment, so so we're looking for a label for that basically. So we're doing a lot of behind the scenes work.
Yeah, that's really cool. So, have you got any other hobbies outside of music?
Sure. I mean, I read a lot. I try and write. Write a little bit, at least a little bit, sort of every week. I write a lot of fiction. I would like to get published at some point. I do a lot of gardening. I grow a lot of chilies. They're sort of they're getting ready to be overwintered. So that's quite exciting. It's quite calming. I what else do I like? I like to cook a lot. I find that really calming. Yeah, that's me.
No, that's cool. I've actually got a friend, actually, Aaron. He's the drummer in Regional One.
Yeah.
He does a lot of gardening himself as well. So I was like, every time like a musician says, "Oh, I'm gardener," my mind just goes to Aaron in my head. Because we've had many drunken conversations about the things that he's growing.
I just love to see like a well-maintained garden. It's fantastic. I'm moving out. My place I'm moving out of at the moment had like a sort of balcony garden, and that got filled. I don't think I could have put more plants on that this year, which I was quite pleased with.
It's funny that you're both drummers as well.
Maybe there's a thing. I don't know. Like I'd never spotted it before, but maybe I will now. There's a thing of drummers called Tom. That just seems to be a thing. Yeah, maybe gardening's the most metal of all hobbies.
Yeah, who knows? I think it's interesting to have other things alongside it. Like, I mean, I got into like basically like local music and local gigs and stuff a long time ago, and kind of came really passionate about it, hence why I made Let's Talk Music. But I also act, like at college. I'm doing acting and stuff, so, and technician stuff as well. I've done lights, I've done sound. So I think it's good to have a little bit of things going on in the background, as well as like things you're really passionate about. Just a little bit of everything's kind of nice, I think.
Yeah, definitely. I did acted a bit. Actually I found the poster when I was moving for the play I was in when I was at uni. That was really good fun. I sort of I a little bit regret not doing any more of it. Like I just not doing it at the moment because I haven't really got time. But I have been able to act for some acts. I've been in music videos that we've done. So I get a little bit of, I get to like dip a toe back into that world.
Yeah, definitely. I've just dipped my toe back into it recently. I did it when I was younger and kind of come back to it recently. And I'm doing a show actually on like 23rd of November, which actually doesn't seem that far away when I think about it. But yeah, that should be good. But so back to kind of like the music stuff. Is there a band that you've seen that you thought they just did a really good job live for whatever reason? Yeah.
Sure. So for death metal stuff, I try to think of anything really recent that I've seen that I was really impressed by. I see. I'll probably like repeat a few names. So I saw Cryptic Shift earlier this year. I thought they killed it. Really impressed by them. I should probably plug Wallowing, who are playing the book launch that we're doing next month on the 19th. A bit divorced from death, a little bit divorced from death metal, but they're more sort of in the grindcore scene, grindcore noise sludge. But they're really amazing. They play in they're Brighton based. They play in sort of like sprayed black beekeeper costumes. Which must be so warm. I saw them in the summer. I just thought you guys must be like melting.
Crazy.
Yeah. I'm trying to think who else for death metal that I've seen this year. I am seeing Converge next month, which I'm really excited for. Who are sort of in the kind of not death metal, but like definitely an extreme band. I'm pretty excited for that. I think I can confidently say that's going to be a great show.
That's really cool. Oh gosh. So, do you have any advice for any young budding musicians out there?
I think like for me, it's all about getting involved in the scene, I think. So I mean, it's one thing to say, go to shows and support people, but I always tell people like think about how you can sort of get involved in things, even if it's like interviewing people for YouTube channels. Yeah, I used to put on. I only stopped because of the pandemic, but I used to put on shows all the time. That's how I got to know Max and the Rock Against Cancer people.
Love Max.
Yeah. Love those guys. Writing reviews. even sort of like sharing things around, coming to shows, buying merch. Yeah, I would say like if you do, when you do things that you're not on your own when you're doing them, like you're acting as part of a community. So even the smallest act is really, really worthwhile.
Yeah, I mean, Let's Talk Music basically started before we even did videos. I would just go to local gigs alone. And I've met so many people, and honestly, I think they're the most welcoming places to go to, especially if you just want to get involved in that scene. And then you just continually meet more people, because then they're like, oh, also my band's playing here at this time, and then you'll go and meet another band that are playing alongside them, and you'll meet other people that have gone to see that band and such like that. Like I literally just met Max and Charlie at Rock Against Cancer this year, but it's opened up like a whole new world of opportunities and stuff, and they're great guys. They're really passionate about what they do. And it can, yeah, like you say, just you're not really in your own on that. And I think some people, especially younger, maybe people shy away from that kind of scene because they're like, oh, you know, I'm gonna be on my own. But there's so much love out there for it. I think is an important thing. So I'm gonna kind of like wrap this video up a little bit, and just be like, so where can you get the book? When's the launch coming out for it, maybe, or what's going on with that?
Sure. So that is that's coming out. It's being released on the 17th.
Okay.
And it's we're doing a book launch in Bristol. Bristol Waterstones. We're having a death metal band in a Waterstones.
Oh,
wow. Be fun. Yeah. I'm coming back into gig promotion to do a tiny little bit of I'm doing a tiny little bit. I'm doing this one, and then we'll see where we go from there. Yeah, that's going to be really good fun.
Yeah, death metal band in Waterstones, is it?
Yeah, that's actually, well, it's Wallowing, who we talked about before. In terms of where you can get it, it is I think it's pretty much going to be available everywhere. It's fairly niche, so I think bookstores might have to sort of order it in, but it'll be available online. It's on the Bloomsbury store. It's on the it'll be on Amazon, and I imagine Blackwell's and places like that. So anywhere that will sell you books will sell you this book.
That's amazing. That's cool. That's just it's crazy. I just the thought of that in a Waterstone story. I was just like, it's really cool though. That's really cool. Before we just like kind of end the video there or whatever, is there anything you want to add? Anything you want to talk about?
I guess like just thank you for taking time to chat with me. It's been really, really cool. I've really enjoyed writing the book. I wanted to write a book since I was very young. I feel like enormously like grateful that I've been able to do it. Yeah, I really hope people enjoy it. It's written. It's only sort of it's not a super long book. So I've written it for anyone to sort of pick up and enjoy. I know it's not. It can be quite a long, dense subject. I try to make it as accessible as possible. So yeah, I hope anyone who's curious about the origins of death metal or the death growl or anything like that wants to pick it up and read it. I hope they all enjoy it. And thank you very much for taking the time to chat to me today.
No, honestly, it's fine. It's interesting. Like and to write a book is a big accomplishment. So like, well done for that. It's not something I probably could do. But yeah, so that's amazing. So do you have a way that like people can follow you or whatever, or anything like that I can put in the description?
Sure. I have a website which I can send you a link to, which I just made. I'm still working on. You can follow me. It's probably best to follow my Instagram, which is at Tcoleswords. Someone pointed out that it reads as Tcoleswords, which I'm fine with, to be honest. Yeah, get me on Instagram. I've got some videos about the book on Instagram.
I'll message you, and then you can give me your Instagram or link or whatever, and I can put that in the description. It was really nice to meet you and to get to know you. Thank you for coming on. Yeah, I think that's everything. We'll say goodbye.
That's
Thank
great.
you guys for watching at home. Again, I am just going to put it out there for the second time because we're raising money for charity. 26th of November, Bear Cave in Bournemouth, £7 a ticket. Some awesome bands playing. Rock Beats Cancer. Get down there if you can. Gonna put it out there as much as possible, so I'll shove it at the end of the video. Thanks for coming on, and thank you guys for watching again. Like, subscribe, and all that stuff. And I'll see you guys soon.